he's playing in solo queue at the moment. Definitely good to be taking that away from him. We'll see what he's like on something else. He'll maybe play a bit more conservative this week.
Oh, the Lux gets locked in. I'm guessing that's going for mental in the middle lane. It can always flex to the support role. It's been a while since we've seen Aftershock Lux.
After Hyojung's role swap into support, actually, I would really expect this to be going towards him. Obviously, after you've only just role swapped, you don't have a lot of time to learn roles, but Lux had been a really, really big pick for him. And so I'm surprised that it wasn't banned away, really, but I expect it to go to him. But again, could still go to the mid lane.
And I like that the Sejuani is being taken away. Jarvan probably for Dakin in that jungle role, but has that bit of flexibility as well that we actually talked about earlier on today during that downtime that we had. We were talking about how J4 can be towards the top side as well, and that you have played it quite a lot in your competitive experience. So just a little bit of a tease for this Mass G, but it won't be locked in.
And Tivo as well, a little bit of tease there. We'll see what gets locked in eventually there. But Sejuani, really strong pick for Tyron there. Really strong pick in the jungle at the moment. It's good to get that slap down way for him to support the rest of the team, and it's still a pretty good pick for him as well. So it's nice to see him on something that he can shine a bit more on this week.
Yeah, definitely want to see their star jungler, as he likes to put it himself, in Tyron, be able to make these plays, be able to beat that early aggression for his team, especially if you have Lux as well for a little bit more lockdown. Camille gets locked in. Again, that can be towards the mid lane. We've seen it usually with the Sejuani, or this could be maybe a takeaway so that they can't pair that up with the Sejuani on the side of Radiant.
Yeah, definitely. And Camille, quite a strong pick at the moment in the top lane. She's doing all right at the moment. She can be picked in multiple lanes. Unlikely to see it in the jungle, as we've already seen the Jarvan there, but I would expect it to go top lane.
To be a placeholder?
Yeah, I'm
expecting that move to be a placeholder.
Yeah, definitely. We've already got the Sejuani there, so we'll find out what that is soon. But yeah, Kenruto, heavy duelist type player, so I imagine that Camille will be going to him, and it's a really strong pick for him. So I'm happy to see him try and pop.
We will update you guys what that Amumu is as soon as we find out. Could be a spicy pick like top lane Amumu, but we're not really expecting that, and I haven't heard it just yet. So continuing with the bans, we'll take away the Caitlyn, another long-ranged AD carry taken off the board. It could spell something that has a little bit lower range in that AD carry position for Jhin.
Yeah, no, I don't blame them taking away the picks from Aether as well. Shown himself in the past to be a really, really strong UK ADC. Didn't have the best game last week. I know he'll say it himself, but he did okay. But it's nice to see that. And then the Sivir are coming out as well. Definitely targeting Aether here as one of the players they're a bit scared of.
Yeah, definitely pinching that AD carry champion pool nicely there. And I have an update for you guys that Amumu is in fact a Jax, so picking that towards the top side for Wraith Whip.
Okay, so a big counter pick coming in there for the Camille then. I would like to see Kenruto go for a different rune setup going into the Jax matchup. You'll probably want to be taking the Comet instead, but we'll just have to see.
Another AD carry ban, this time it's a Vayne, so what will they default to now?
I would assume that, yeah, picking up the ADC there with it. Yeah, so I think Xayah will be a good pick here with everything being pinched so heavily. We've seen a lot of ADCs being taken away. 5 ADCs being taken away. I think Xayah is probably your next best pick, and they'll be picking it up here, I think.
So you think maybe an Ashe might be picked up for the side of Viperio here, or is there someone else that's a bit better?
Yeah, that's definitely been rising in priority. I mean, Ezreal has gone untouched. I assume that Aether does play Ezreal. I mean, if it was standard champion select, I would expect Ezreal to have been picked up earlier, but he's going for the Varus. That's still like a pretty good pick at the moment in the meta. I think I've seen Aether play it before. I think he's had pretty good performances on it as well, so not too unexpected to see him pick that up.
Now, I like the Varus. I like pairing that up with the Morgana as well. A lot of engage in the bottom side, a lot of CC as well. So if you land a binding, you just get a kind of perma CC with the chains coming out as well. And it's just hovering the Garen. I don't really expect it to be locked in. If it gets locked in, it's the G2 special.
Yeah,
it gets locked in. That placeholder?
I'm not sure.
It could be Camille mid with Garen top.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, against the Jax, I don't know how either of them will do. I would expect it to be a placeholder, but we'll try and find out soon. And the last bit coming in now for the side of Radiant. Is it gonna...
Yeah, we'll update you guys as soon as we figure out what's going on here. So Diana gets locked in last there, and we will just be remaking the lobby now so that we can get the Amumu switched out for the Jax.
Yeah, cool.
as soon as the teams decide to.
Yeah, there we go. We'll go back into the loading screen when we have those champions picked up for you guys.
All right, so we do have a bit of an update for what that Garen is. The Garen is, in fact, a Syndra, so I think a little bit more standard than
yeah,
the Garen
definitely.
pick actually seems to be.
So they are committing to the Camille in the top matchup. I would have liked to see BB Muffin try and pick that up in the mid lane due to the counter pick. But you can still do fine on that matchup with Camille into Jax. Like I said, if you take the Comet in the matchup, put a few points in W, you can definitely survive that in the early levels.
Yeah, you definitely can. And we are back in Champ Select. We're just gonna run down these picks as soon as we can, and we'll be switching back to that scene for you guys as soon as we can too. Yeah. So just gonna fire out those bans as quick as possible and try and get through it and just get into the game. So what you think of the compositions as a whole so far from what we've seen?
I have honestly got a very short-term memory, so I'll probably have to be reminded of that in this Champ Select now.
Right, so J4 against Sejuani would be one that I'd like to focus on early because of the early aggression for both these junglers. They both like to be really aggressive, they both like to make the plays early, so how will that play out in the first maybe 5 minutes?
Yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting to see what sort of path they go for. You can go for the full red side clear. I would expect Sejuani, Tyrion on that, to do that and maybe go for an early top gank potentially with the Jax. Although you can also go through, I believe it's red, Krugs, blue, Grom, Scuttle, and then gank. A path that a lot of pro junglers like Yankos have been performing recently.
Okay, Garen was Silas. It was just a little bit of a miscommunication with one of the admins. So it is Silas, and that's what it was meant to be.
Okay, I actually really like that pick now as well. I know that BB Muffin, big player of the Silas, he'll love to get his hands on that, try and show off a little bit of fancy feet, a little bit of his skills there. But no, I think I prefer the comp from Viperio. I'm feeling pretty good about my prediction at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, I like the comp from Viperio. I like that it's a Silas into a Sejuani as well. Because then you have a lot of chase potential there. You have a lot of teamfight potential, especially if you can get the wombo combo, you know, with the J4, with the Camille as well, and then you have the Sejuani ultimate just on top of it, just kind of dogpile on top of Radiant. But yeah. Talk to me a little bit about this Diana. This Diana, it's something that we generally don't see. It's not even very well seen in solo queue, but once you get to the later levels, then you start one-tapping people.
Yeah, no, definitely a bit of an off-meta pick. Hopefully maybe like a little pocket pick. So, I mean, you would assume that he's picked it because he's very confident on it, he's very comfortable. We've moved on a bit from first week now, so I think people will try to expand a little bit more on their champion pools, try to pick stuff a bit more meta, but it's still fine to be going back to that comfort at the moment. And that's the full comp there. Honestly, actually, the Silas, with the ultis that he can steal, I only see Sejuani as a really big one. Like, Lux maybe could be okay, but if it's not Sejuani, then I think it's kind of scuffed.
So what should we expect for the early jungle priority to be?
I would expect Sejuani to do a full red side clear and then maybe try go to one of the solo laners. Both Silas and Camille have pretty decent escape though, so it's still going to be pretty difficult to get off. All of the lanes actually from Viperio are quite difficult to gank. Camille with the E, you've got Silas that has a decent amount of mobility. You also have Varus that has Morgana shield, so that's going to be pretty hard. We'll just have to see the way that priorities end up shaping out in the game.
Yeah, we'll just have to keep our eyes on that. But something I would like to touch on is this bot lane. Xayah Lux, Varus Morgana. Very interactive bot lane in some ways. A lot of poke that can be thrown out from either side. And we've been told before from players in the league that Jinsane and Aether, they're very much these... It's almost... I hate to use the term, but star AD carries for their teams. There's a lot that's riding on them in games. So... do you think that it's all on Aether for the side of Viperio just to be the hard carry for the team, or is it all on BB Muffin? How do you think that they're going to try and actually play out these games?
Yeah, no, I see Viperio as a triple threat team, which can pay off in some ways, and other ways maybe not so much. A lot of them, I imagine, especially with Camille, Silas, Varus, Morgana, that top-sided mid, I would expect a lot of resources to be given to. And the Varus and Morgana, hopefully they can play a little bit safer. But I think that on the side of Radiant as well, I think a lot of pressure will be on Jin Lightning again. His last week performance, not stellar. And now without Dino Ricard, I think even more pressure will be on him to perform. I think he's probably the best player left on that team now without Dino Ricard, and with Hyojung on his really high comfort pick of Lux, I would expect great things from this bot lane.
So we'll be keeping our eyes on that, and I would like to see this Lux doing what Lux is kind of expected to do. Do you think that they'll run the Aftershock? We've seen some Luxes in high elo running some Comet as well, but that's more towards the mid lane. Do you think just go stick stock standard and just try and play out the tankiness?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he'll probably just take the Aftershocks. Makes most sense, I suppose. But then again, against the Morgana, maybe not so much. It's quite easy to negate the CC that comes in there if Munch has the good reactions, and Munch being probably the best, if not second or third best support we have in the league, you would expect him to be able to get those clutch E's off on from Morgana.
All right, guys, let us know in the chat who you think is going to win this game. Will it be Radiant or will it be Viperio? I know you guys on Twitter, you have voted for Radiant to win this game, as us casters have voted for Viperio. So it's a little bit of a battle of the analysts at this point. And we would like to think that Viperio are going to win. That's kind of, that's how we've predicted it. We got perfect predictions last week, I'm pretty sure. And aside from my inting earlier on today because of NSG, we're doing pretty well. I'd like to see another win on the board for us prediction-wise. However, I don't want it to be a stomp. I'd like it to be very, very close. And by all regards, I think that it is going to be a very close game.
Yeah, definitely. And thinking about the team compositions, actually, Radiant, no one's going to be able to beat Jax in that side lane matchup. Camille, no matter what stage in the game, is not really going to be able to beat him unless a lot of jungle pressure is paid towards it. The Silas isn't really going to do very well against it either. I think that if Radiant Substitute can come in here and have a really standout performance, it's going to be really difficult for Viperio, and I do fear for them in the side lane.
We'll keep our eyes on that matchup. But you said that the Jax plays really well into the Camille. Is that all game long, or is it where Camille will just reach a point where she has 3 or 4 items and then Jax just maybe you bait out the counter strike and then there's nothing he can do?
I mean, if Wraith Whip, if he's playing the Jax correctly and he manages to use the E when he really needs to, I don't see a way that Kenruto will win at any point. He has gone for the grasp in this matchup, so he'll be looking to just go in and get the light taps on the Q. That'll definitely help him out a little bit. So he's not going for the traditional W Comet Max into the matchup, but with grasp being a little bit more high priority with Camille's, I think he can still fare pretty well in the laning phase.
Besides that, nothing too unusual across the board from any of the other players. And we are onto the Rift for our second game. Well, generally first game of the day, and it is our match of the week, Viperio versus Radiant. And we'll have to see who can come out on top.
Yep.
Some people hoping Radiant, some people hoping Viperio.
Yeah, I'm just getting the stuff up. There we go.
Make sure everything looks all nice and pretty as players are loading onto the Rift and we can get started.
Yeah, I assume just sort of standard. Maybe we can see an invade from the red side on Radiant with the Lux. It's pretty strong, but then again, you also have the Morgana, 2 very strong early game level 1 Q bindings. And it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like standard line of
from
scrimmage
both
so far.
Yeah, standard sort of from both of them. Looking to jungle matchups as well. If we. There we go. Jungle matchups, again, like I said, I think I would expect Sejuani to do a full red side clear, then move in to try a gank. I think with J4, maybe we'll just try and match it. Might go for a little gank early into the mid lane, potentially. I think I'd like to see.
So maybe a level 2 or level 3 gank mid?
Yeah,
Try and burn a flash or something?
Yeah, Jarvan very famous for strong level 2 ganks. Maybe he'll try that early. It depends on what Dakin fancies.
Both junglers, as I said, during Champions Select, known for being really aggressive, so it's good to see them on aggressive playmakers and be able to maybe make something happen. We'll just have to keep our eyes out, and
Yeah,
pretty
maybe.
standard now from both sides, though.
Yeah, maybe he can try red and then insta-gank. If they give him a heavy leash, it could be a possibility there. But yeah, fairly standard start from both laners. Both junglers starting their red side. He is moving down towards the... They do have a ward cut out, so they will spot him. I don't think this is going to result in anything.
Yeah, just a ping coming out. He will sweep it away. Good game sense from Dakin there to know that he was spotted out. Aggressive trading in the top side just gets a little bit.
He's moving into his blue side, actually. He's going for a really early invade.
He takes the flail to the face. A little bit of poke coming out in the bot side as well. And he's still trying to aggress onto this blue buff as there's some trading in the mid lane.
Yeah, good trade on the top side as well. What's the result of that, actually? Is he... They're still fighting over that
just
blue
not
buff.
letting us see.
And he's reset the blue buff, actually. Both... You see the side of Viperio actually moving into the blue side now to give him a bit of support there. They have managed to get the push in bot lane to allow them to give him a little bit more assistance. But it looks like they're going to be taking the blue buff from him, actually. Really good play from Viperio to sense out that early play.
Very well done. Got the pressure, got the priority in mid and in bot to allow him to push forward into the enemy jungle lane. Just forces Tyron away, and now just gotta let the pressure ease up in the middle lane. Maybe allow for a gank to come in from Dakin, but so far just gotta go back to clearing.
Yeah, no, he'll take the loss where he needs to. They still have the blue side from Dakin up. I think he'll probably just move up back in, get the triple buff. We do see Camille moving down towards the Sejuani, actually.
Yeah, XX Sweep comes in as well. Mental is nearby, very low on the Silas. First blood picked up.
Great play from Kenruto there. Just pushed up the lane. He came down, knew that the Sejuani would be very low level, didn't get the blue buff, and goes into the jungle, invades him, gets the kill.
Beautifully well done. Nice coordination coming out so early from Viperio, and he didn't miss out on any CS towards that top side. He just keeps it very even with Rat Whip.
Yeah, no, he's done really, really well early on in this matchup, actually. He's now got the red buff as well, which is going to be a huge help in terms of that lane pressure. He's going to be able to regen a decent amount of it, health back up if he really needs to. And yeah, the grasp actually playing out pretty well there, just getting the good pokes in with red buff as well, dealing a lot of damage onto that Jax.
And it's actually how you said that you expected him to play the lane with Comment, using the Hextech Sweep just to get a decent amount of chip damage down.
He's going back in.
Oh! Yeah, flash forward, gets a nice stun. Can he finish off the kill though? Wrathwhip not near his minions. One more auto attack should do it. Picks up the solo kill in the top side, but in the mid lane, Sip the Dihan being beaten senseless. Mental picks up that kill as well. Tyron comes in for the assist.
Yeah, no, great play on the top side there. What a flash from Kenruto to be able to get in there and make sure that that E pushes him backwards, gets the kill. 2-0 now on the Camille, and he's going to be really scary, actually.
Definitely with the Sheen, with the long sword as well. He's going to start to be able to pump out some damage. Just teleports back to the top side. We'll be able to pick up a lot of this CS from the wave, and Counter-Strike comes down for the stun. Gets Precision Protocol to get some true damage back down. Fundamental nearby. This should be another kill onto Wrathwhip. He's overextended. Yes, he has the minion wave, but he should be going down here. Flying Drag will miss, and burning through with the red buff. Flash forward to get a reply kill. Will be eventually taken down here. One has to assume, and he's just going to try and run away. Flying Drag still on cooldown. Yeah,
just a few too many minions there from Kenruto trying to go in and aggressive. I do like the poke that he managed to get in there with the Grasp and Sheen, but what the...
He's running him around the map, and he gets
the executed. Oh my god. I mean, that's turned it back around quite a lot. I mean, if he just went down there with nothing, I would have really feared for Radiant. Like, the Substitute coming in there, having a very, very rough early game in the O2. He's not going to be feeling amazing, but getting the kill and managing to get the execute as well, that'll be very useful for the anti-tilt.
It definitely will, and he backed to pick up his ninja tabbies and a longsword now that will help him out in these trades in the top side. And they brought Silas over from mid lane as well to try and secure the kill credit, but eventually will die to that tier 3 tower, the inhib tower. And it was just well played, and hopefully it will bring him back into this lane and maybe even help him win the lane that he should be able to play so aggressively and so well in.
Yeah, definitely. You see him picking up the Ninja Tabi there as well. That's going to help him out a lot against this Camille poke.
And actually starting to get the best of these trades now, getting the counter-strike down for the stun, and
you do see
Naruto playing it as best as he can.
You do see mid laners moving into the... Oh.
Just goes forward. Ooh, still chases him, flag and drag to safety, but will back out. Doesn't have a lot of vision there and knows that BB Muffin was on the rotation, so they will just get him forced away from this objective. Will be able to pick up that Rift Scuttle for themselves.
Yeah, and 7 minutes in, still very even across the map. We will see Wrathwit, there we go.
Yes.
Take up the CS there, move things a bit more even. But no, still very even after that topside play. I think kind of what we would expect, really, with these two teams being quite evenly matched. Nothing really pushing out too much in the early game.
Yeah, nothing too unusual, but that Diana going super aggressive onto Fundamental earlier, it just shows the early damage even from Diana can be quite obnoxious, and if you play it with confidence, then you can really just get so much pressure for your team. And they're starting onto this Ocean Drake, but Fundamental is nearby, so Dakin might be able to respond.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be able to do anything about this. The bot lane's pushed back into the blue side now. They are moving up, but the dragon's gone.
Yeah, Lightbinding connects as well as Singularity coming out. Just get a nice amount of chunk damage down. Misses with the Dark Binding here. Lightbinding versus Dark Binding, flash away. Hun manages to steal the ultimate. Flag and Drag forward will not manage to find the stun, though steals the Sejuani's ult now. Uses it just to buy a little bit of time for his team to escape.
Yeah, no, good disengaged play there. The Sejuani ulti will be on a long cooldown now for that Silas, though, so there's not really much else, like we said in the champ select, that he can pick back up. Apart from Diana ulti, maybe, but...
Interesting that he's going so aggressive with this top side when he knows that Counter-Strike was up, that it'll do additional damage to more damage you do to him during that. So he's just going for these aggressive trades, trying to make sure that Wrathwood knows that he's not intimidated by his Jax.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just going to have a little check here, see what he's maxing. Yeah, you know, he is going for the E. In E-max builds, or for Camille, eventually, especially with Sheen as a cooldown reduction item, your E does get on a lower cooldown than the Counter-Strike, so you can always go in, try a trade, and then wait until the Counter-Strike... Sorry, your Camille hookshot is back in, but we see Sejuani moving to bot side.
Yeah, might be able to make something happen here. Out comes the Glacial Prison. Might be able to find a pick, force a flash out of I Love You. He should be going down. Just another couple of auto attacks will be able to do it. Jin Lightning just wasn't close enough to secure the kill, but they do get the flash out of the AD carry. Yeah,
no, good play there coming out from the side of Radiant. Managing to pick up the flash there. They will likely see a return gank from the Sejuani. She did have to use the ultimate, so it'll be a while until she's really relevant again, but still fine.
And so far, it's just very even. We keep saying it, but there's nothing else to really say about these two teams at this point. We're almost 10 minutes in, 2 kills to 2, no towers taken just yet. Tower plates not really to speak of, and it's exactly even on gold. I think there's less than 50 gold between these two teams, and that's down to CS, really.
Yeah, no, I mean, the dragon pickup from the side of Radiant is pretty good. Ocean Drake, early game, probably the best one you can get. Gives you a lot of sustain in the laning phase. Has allowed Viperio to hold out a little bit more in these laning phases. Looking at the gold differences as well, it's not even like there's a big gold difference in any sort of lane. Every single lane is within about 100 to 200 gold of each other.
Yeah. They're going for a play in the mid lane. Silas went in for this fight, but out comes the Permafrost. He should be going down here. Won't be able to get away just yet. Forced to flash, and flash forward from Tyron will secure the kill with the play of the North.
Yeah, a little bit sloppy there from Sifter T-Hump. We got to play another again in the top lane, maybe? Oh, no, just a little trade. Yeah, no, he saw him on the ward, I think, there. with the Vision Ward, so unlucky for him to not spot that out before he went in for the trade. They're going to take a few plates off the mid lane tower now, and that's going to push out the mid advantage. But they do take the Herald as well. Pretty good trade, actually, for the side of Viperio. I think now with that, they'll be able to use that before the 14-minute mark when the plates go down. That'll be a lot of gold going into Viperio's pockets. With a
where would you like them? Where would you like them to place this Herald? Where would you think that it has the maximum effect given the game state?
I mean, you just want to be able to put it in a lane that has pressure and can push up the wave. Maybe you could use it in the top lane before 14 minutes, as in, because Kenruto's actually managed to keep the lane pushed up constantly. Maybe he's going to be popping at bot lane here, potentially. I mean, Morgana, Varus both have pretty good wave clear, so it's not too difficult to just pop that out, get the early plates bottom, and getting a lot of gold onto Aether will be really important for Viperio.
Definitely will. One of the main carries for the team, and Wrathwhip taking a lot of damage towards his topside. Precision Protocol doing a lot of work. They don't know that J4 is there, but now they do with the Herald being popped down. Wrathwhip taking really low on the topside, but Grandmaster's Might will keep him relatively tanky.
Yeah, and if that kill went over to the side of Camille, I think
she picks it up. Baby Cage comes down. Precision Protocol makes it look easy. Foulspike now taken by the Silas. Herald did go down, but was cold on time. Only got a little bit of damage down onto the tower.
Yeah, I mean, 2 plates in the bot lane now. That's a lot of gold going into the side of Viperio, and getting the kill in the top lane as well. You do really have to fear for that now. I was about to talk about if they didn't get that kill in the top lane for the Jax, it would have been even worse, and we maybe would have seen even more kills go over. But falling down eventually now, this Camille is going to start looking really strong, and the first one to get that Triforce spike is going to have a lot of impact on the map.
Yep, definitely will, and he's about 700 CS, not 700 CS, that would be an insane amount of advantage. 700 gold over his lane opponent at this point, and it's a matchup that we expected for Kenruto because it's Camille. Against the Jax, we expected Kenruto to lose, but he's just doing so well in this matchup with the early trading that he got and the early kill that he got onto the Jax, really helping him out. And I think it's a little bit of hubris as well from Wrathwhip, thinking that because it's a counter matchup and he should be winning, that he's playing too aggressively even though he's too far behind. And you spoke to the trade, he forced Power Spike. Kenruto has it now.
Yeah, no, he's just picked that up now. He's going to be extremely strong, and the Q procs as well as the grasp in this matchup are going to be so dirty.
Still not doing quite a lot of damage with that counter strike, but Wrathwhip already down to half health. Hook shot in, flashed away from it.
You saw how much that empowered Q did with the grasp and the Trinity Force proc. Kenruto is looking filthy on this Camille. I mean, maybe it's just a testament to how well he must know the champion and know the matchup to be able to just take it anyway, be like, yeah, that's fine, I don't mind, you pick the Jax, that's cool, I'm going to take grasp and I'm just going to poke you so hard you're going to lose anyway.
Yeah, it makes it almost like as if there's that range advantage that we normally see, like a Gnar into a Jax or something, or a Gnar into a GP, where there's this range differential. Because of the Hextech sweep, now it just seems like as if he has that much of a range advantage that you can just keep poking him down, make sure that he just can't really do anything. And maybe look at the tower dive here. Flagger Drag comes in comes the teleport as well as kind of strike gets channeled just to make sure that they can't over-aggress underneath the tower. And Tyron's also in the top side. Out comes the Glacial Prison as well. They're just going to dogpile onto him. BB Muffin just can't do anything. Flashes forward. Flagger Drag will get him to safety as Kyoyoung in the bottom side will have a heart pierced with the arrow. Now they're underneath the tower on the top side as well. Kenruto flash away.
Oh, the Jarvino!
Survive. That's a great Jarvino just to buy them a little bit of time, and the tower will not have enough damage, and the Q comes out from Mental. No kills really go down in this top side. And it's so close.
Yeah, so many flashes burned on both sides there. We saw a lot of action in the bot lane as well, managing to pick up a kill there. I mean, BB Muffin's starting to look a little shaky on this Silas here, being caught out quite a few times by Tyron. Can we? Tyron. Yeah, no, Tyron actually,
don't get mad at him, he's trying. Okay.
Yeah, no, he's actually been playing pretty well this game, managing to collapse on BB Muffin a few decent opportunities here. And, I mean, BB Muffin didn't even get to use the Silas ulti there. Maybe if he'd survived a little bit longer, gotten the Sejuani ulti, popped that off in the fight, it could have made a huge difference. We saw how low the Tyron got after the Jarvan ulti and the dive, and maybe that would have been the kill.
It could have been, and it's just BB Muffin caught out in the top side. He just couldn't do anything to try and get away, and he almost cost Viperio the lives of his top laner and jungle as well. And yet another Drake is going over to the side of Radiant. It is only a Cloud Drake, but it'll help with their rotations, help them do whatever they want a little bit faster.
Yeah, no, very free pickup from them as well. It's only a Wind Drake, but they'll definitely take it. Just trying to avoid that Camille, I think, as much as possible is probably the best option right now. They are moving up to there for a 3-man dive, though.
They are indeed, and Sipatihan needs to get a kill in his back pocket as well. Grandmaster's Might not gonna be good enough. Wraith Whip buys a little bit of time with the counter strike, but Kenrudo with the sweep will just pick that up. Tyron nearby as well. They're just gonna jump onto him, flashes away, but in comes the Hextech Ultimatum. That will time out. Permafrost comes out. You might be able to walk this one away too, but Kenrudo off to the side. Hook shot comes through. Yeah, Mooncaller, Flag and Drag as well. They're just not going to be able to do anything further here. X marks the spot, but Hyoyoung not going to hit the life binding, but still going to continue the aggression here. But off to the side, the AD carries and the support. Kenrudo now on a killing spree. He goes in, picks up another kill for his team. They will answer one back with the Morgana going down, but ooh, Wrath Whip underneath the tower. Gonna do so much work for the team. Shutdown Gold now goes over to Hyoyoung. And finally, Kenrudo will be taken down. Ooh, great dive.
I mean, every single fight that's happened in this game, it seems like there's so much back and forth there that no team's ending up pulling ahead. The side of Radiant now about 1,000 gold ahead, but it's still not very much, and they'll look to try and pick up this mid tower as well.
It gave them so much pressure there, and they're probably going to pick up this tower. Only Morgana is left up to respond to it. Just going to ping them away. Just not going to over-aggress, not going to overstay their welcome, and make sure that they don't give up any further kills at this point. Now, we're 18 minutes into the game, 1,400 gold now extra in the pocket of Radiant. They have 1 tower to nothing.
1,000 of that gold is all in the AD carry. That's the entire gold discrepancy almost in this game now is within ADC versus ADC. I mean, not even necessarily like because of matchup, just because of the way the team fights have been playing out, really.
And because he picked up 2 kills in that last fight.
Yeah.
So, is it all on Jinsane to be the hard carry for this team? Are we expecting maybe Wrath Whip to do team fighting or go for that split push that we see for Jax quite frequently? Because Kenrudo on the Camille is still taking it to Wrath Whip, and they're both split pushes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think pressure is really on Jin Lightning now to be able to use that gold lead effectively. They're not going to be winning that top side, I don't think, for the rest. Well, maybe when items get a bit more even, but Kenrudo seems to really know the matchup like the back of his hand, and he's been performing really well in it. I don't see Wrath Whip winning it anytime soon, so I would expect Jin Lightning to be the opening that Radiant need to win the game.
Sipatihan, BB Muffin, still playing so aggressively, even though he's 0-4-4. He has that Hextech Proto Belt to help him out, get a little bit of extra damage and a little bit of extra maneuverability in a way as well. So he's still confident enough to go for these aggressive plays, especially against Wrath Whip, who now he's hit that Trinity Force Tiamat Power Spike on this Jax, can start to do a little bit more than he's done in this game so far, but I'm not sure how that matchup will really go, because from what we've seen from BB Muffin, it hasn't been stellar play on this Sylas.
No, definitely not. I mean, he's starting to get a little bit more gold now. He's picking up the farm. He has got a slight CS lead, and like you see here, he's just taken the tower, so he will be getting a little bit more gold in there, but all he really has to do is...
Goes in with the ultimate as well, pulls him back. Sipatihan in a lot of trouble, has the ultimate available. Choose not to use it, gets the flash out. Goes Sipatihan, finally locked underneath the tower. Can he sustain himself with the Kingslayer? He cannot. Tyron will pick up that kill for himself and does not go down to the tower shots.
Yeah, misses the E there. Really crucial. Maybe could have survived, and we got another ultimate.
Cataclysm comes through, but can he survive this onslaught? File Spark picks up the kill onto Munch, but Munch will help his AD carry fire back.
And so back and forth, and from Our MVP candidate last week, now 0-5-4. Really not a great game from him.
It really isn't. And what can he do to shore up these mistakes? Because it just feels like he's making more and more.
Yeah, no, he's just... After he got the tower, was still a bit too aggressive in the top side. Should have backed off a little bit sooner to avoid dying. But, I mean, in fairness, he's not really giving over too much gold now, being 0-5.
It's not really worth it.
Most of the kills there, not really any of the kills going over to Diana as well. It's not been a 1v1, it's been more BB Muffin getting caught out.
And caught out repetitively as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But now it will be another Cloud Drake that is on spawn, so not something that you really expect them to fight over very enthusiastically, but gonna get a little bit of chip damage onto Wrath Whip there, flying Drake to safety. And they're looking to aggress, but they don't have Tyron's ultimate.
Ooh, Sejuani.
Jihan will steal it for himself and might look to turn the aggression back on its head. And just gonna play tempered here from both sides.
Yeah, you do see BB Muffin with the Sejuani ulti there. He could use that and make a lot of difference if he pops it.
Yeah, it's onto the AD carry. Exactly who you want to be targeting, except the T-Hunt picks up his first kill of the game. Great targeting there, and now they're able to pick up this Cloud Drake, but pings coming out from the side of Radiant. They want to go towards this Baron. Are they just going to establish vision, or are they going to go for it?
There's no... I don't think there's any way that they'd be able to get it. Yeah, they're not even going to try. I was going to say, without Jhin Lightning there's no way they're getting it so early into the game. But no, great redemption play from BB Muffin there just to come back out. Throws the ulti out, kills the ADC. Exactly what he needs to get back in the game.
Exactly what we're expecting of that MVP candidate of last week. And I was surprised when I saw the pings coming down from the Baron because it's only 22 minutes in. And as you said, they don't have Jhin Sane. Their AD carry was down. So they're lacking a lot of the damage that they would have needed to go for this play. And Jax now whacking with his lamp on that top tier 1 tower will finally take that down. Not even evening up the tower difference just yet.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to have a look at the objective timers as well. We have the next dragon is going to be the Infernal. Probably, it's a shame we haven't had a bit more of an impactful Drake so far in the game. Both 2 Clouds and then 1 Ocean. I will expect a fight to be breaking out amongst the Infernal just to try and secure that up, but we still have Baron for another 4 minutes to contest.
We do indeed, and do you think that there's going to be a huge amount of fighting over this Infernal Drake like we really expect or usually see, or is it kind of whoever has side lane pressure is really the one that's going to manage to pick it up?
Well, both top laners do have TP, so they will be able to move to it. I do expect Kenruto to... I would expect Kenruto to actually be going bot side here, and we do see the Jax moving down now, but the next objective people will be looking at is the Baron, so you do want your split push pressure to be on the opposite side of the map, but he's sticking around here, maybe trying to go a bit more aggressive into the red side.
Yeah, might be looking for a pick, but 4 members strung on the side of Radiant around this top quadrant, and they still have yet to take down this tier 1 in the middle lane, so that might be the objective.
Yeah, we do see Jax pushing onto that turret now. He's probably just going to take it for free. I don't expect anyone to be able to get there in time for him. A little bit of sloppy play.
A weird decision to make, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little sloppy from Kenruto, I think, not to be going into that matchup sooner, but maybe they're actually just going to put BB Muff in there. Maybe they really need the Camille in the fights to be able to engage. I mean, they have Jarvan there, so I don't know why it's necessary. That Camille can always come in afterwards, but maybe she's just such a huge gold vein for them that they want to be keeping her there.
Well, they're looking to go aggressive on the side of Radiant now. On both sides of the map as the counter-strike comes down, so T-Hunter a lot of trouble. Kingslayer will sustain him a little bit in this skirmish. And
yeah,
the skirmish on the other side of the map just falls off.
I don't understand why they're not putting Camille down there. BB Muffin wouldn't win that anyway, even if he wasn't really, really far behind, and they need him in there to be picking up the Sejuani ult at any moment he can.
Now Mental caught out here, and Kenruto decides not to.
He's got 4 people moving in on him though.
Yeah, out comes the Mooncaller as well, just to try and pull him back.
TP from BB Muffin as well in the back line.
Away, but in comes the Glacial Prison. Baby Cage comes down as well, flash away, but Mental will match it with his own. Now, looking to chase them down, flash forward. Out comes the Dark Binding as well as the Soul Shackles. Go lock him down, but he's walked into a 5-man strong on the side of Radiant will give his life, and his team has to back away. They cannot fight this. Look at Siptity Honey's down to half health. Will abscond up to safety, and they're onto the Baron.
Yeah, no, all alone there. I don't know really what he was doing. Maybe trying to get off that last little Morgana tick, but a bit too late now.
Especially when he got the exit, he had the black shield on him. He used Dark Binding, and then he's just like, I'm just gonna use my Soul Shackles to try and get away. But then he goes back in to get the bind, but he's facing the entire Radiant roster.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a question mark ping there for me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, question mark pings all around the map for the Absolve side. I don't understand why Kenruto wasn't in that bot lane. He was trying so desperately to try and get that pick off onto the Diana, but just got caught out, dies without really doing anything, and then forces the TPs out, and they lose the Baron for it.
And that's Baron on 5 members of their team now, and they're going to send Jax towards the bot side as well as the Diana picking up the blue, so that's going to be great for him. We'll be able to just spam his abilities. Happy as Larry.
Yeah, and I will expect this Infernal Drake to be going over to the Radiant side. Absolve could try and contest it maybe, but with being on the blue side, it's going to be a little bit more difficult than they like.
Gonna hijack the Sejuani ult now. Will be the playmaker in the next fight if they want it to be. If they can land it onto anyone. Tyrant has it for himself as well. Dark Binding connects here. Singularity just to buy a little bit of space.
He is so tanky right now. But if BB Muffin doesn't manage to get the Sejuani every single fight, it's going to be really difficult for them to try and win anything.
Infernal Drake has spawned and they have started it off now.
It's
up to Viperio to really contest this, down to half already. Flag drag in, might be able to get the smite steal. It will be taken over by Radiant though, and they will manage to get the flag and drag to safety. June's Corruption come out, but it's them trying to respond. It's them dancing to the beat that Radiant is playing. And it's not how Viperio like to play, and it's not how they win their games.
Yeah, no, they did play it very well there by Radiant, moving the dragon out to leash it out a little bit more, so it's going to be way more difficult for Dakin to go in there for the smite steal, and they pick it up for free almost.
And he had to burn his flash as well, so that just feels bad, man. And he burned it. He didn't get the chance to get close enough, as you said, to try and get the smite steal. It was secured. Yet again, another Drake going over to Radiant, and it just feels like they're firmly in the driver's seat. They're 3,000 gold ahead of their opponents now, and they're feeling good. In the early game, it was all on Viperio. We had the advantages for Kenruto on the top side, who's doing really well in a counter matchup, and now it just feels like Radiant is just taking the lead and running with it.
Yeah, and you see 3 Item Spike now coming in for Jin Lightning on the Xayah. He's going to be really strong in these next team fights, and with Sejuani there and Lux to be able to back him up with the shields, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I don't even see Camille really getting on him with the Xayah ulti. It's going to be really difficult for her to jump on him. I don't see a way that Viperio win team fights.
I mean, even if you look at the support difference, there's 1,500 gold between the supports. 2 items now on Hyoyoung. He has his Athene's Unholy Grail. He has his Ardent Censer. So he's going to be buffing up his support, his AD carry so much in these team fights. He'll be almost unkillable himself because of the Aftershock if he can land a binding.
Muffin getting caught out again.
Yet again, just wrong place, wrong time. Abscond, Abduct doesn't connect, and Munch tries his best, throws out Jack Binding. We'll be able to get the connection, but we'll be able to help him out and actually make sure that he stays alive. He's now 1-6. He's almost half of the deaths for his team.
Yeah, no, I mean, last week, he was playing extremely well. Gets caught out twice and ruins the game for them. This time, he's behind and he's getting caught out still. It's not ruining the game for them, but it's making it really difficult for them to be able to hold these towers. He needs to be there for that wave clear.
He really does, and he's only reached 2 items now, and not looking very well. And he can't even really 1v1 anyone. Maybe he can 1v1 Jinsane, but we've yet to see it because Hyoyoung's always nearby.
Yeah, and we see this matchup in the top lane. Great ulti coming out from Kenruto there to be able to dodge the Jaxi.
And yeah, another solo kill over for the Camille, so just playing this matchup really well, but it feels like if it's just an over-aggression from Wrathwhip rather than it being well played from Kenrudo.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can see how he's starting to win that matchup on the Jax, but he's still just going a bit too aggressive. He's going to have to wait even longer now to come online versus the Camille, as he's just handing gold over to her.
Slowly building towards that Sterak's Gauge, one has to assume, with the Joram's Fist and the Pickaxe. Might be able to go for something a little bit different if he wants to as well, but we'll have to keep an eye on that build path as it progresses. Now, the entire map control is in the hands of Radiant at this point. If we check out the top lane and the mid lane, they have the pressure there, and someone will have to eventually respond to that bot lane wave push. But right now, they're feeling comfortable, they're feeling happy with how the game is going, and the 4,000 gold lead, it's a start, but it's not a win.
Yeah, no, we see Baron coming up in about 40 seconds for the teams. They'll be wanting to prioritize that very heavily. We have the Infernal Drake coming up after, so ideally, you want to be getting both of them, but it might just end up being a trade for the Baron and the Infernal as they're so close together.
Yeah, it's really up to the individual decision-making of both these teams. What's objectively... How would you like to see both these teams play it? Because, as you said, 40 seconds until Infernal Drake, you'd like to get the second one. Are you willing to give up the Baron for that? And we'll talk about that in a second, as Ghost Golden justifies himself a little bit of time. Out comes the Final Spark, will not be enough to take down Munch against the Teleport as a response. Tihan finally does a lot of damage in a team fight. He goes Golden. He will eventually be going down here. Kingslayer actually sustains him so much. He will go down to Young though. Kenrudo flash. Just to try and continue this aggression. Kenrudo should be able to do a lot of damage, especially true damage, but he has no vision in that brush, so will back away. That's a team fight lost once again for Viperio.
Yeah, and the Jax maybe not faring so well against Camille in the 1v1 matchup, but he absolutely destroyed the backline that fight. Jumped straight onto Aether on the Varus and just made mincemeat out of him.
And we were going to discuss, would you give up the Baron just to get the second Infernal? They can get both at this point. Still 15 seconds on I Love You, 10 seconds now on Sip the Tihan, and they will get this uncontested. And Jax might be able to solo this Drake before J4 can really do it.
Yeah, no, the side of Viperio will really want to move in there as fast as they can to try and get it, but they're actually TPing for the Infernal.
Yeah, they just force Mental away. He has to flash because he knows there's so much burst damage coming out from Mental. He has a Rabadon's Death Cap, a Void Staff. It doesn't matter that you have Mercury Threads. He's going to burst you.
Yeah, and there's nothing that they can really do to take this away from the red side now. They're actually, they are moving in though, having to force it out a little bit. They are quite low, but...
Smite is available for Mental, flash away from Munch, but that doesn't matter. Out comes the ultimate from Tyron just to make sure, in case he survived all that burst, that he would still be locked down. So we'll pick up the second Infernal Drake of the game for themselves. They have the Baron as well, so they can push out these waves and not really care what happens from the side of Viperio.
I'm starting to worry about my 100% prediction.
I'm sitting with NSG as a loss already. I think I'm okay getting another one.
We do see a pause coming through. We'll just see how
we'll
long
update you guys as soon as we get told what's going on. So it is a lag from Jinsane, so he'll probably disconnect then reconnect, and we'll get back into the game as soon as we can. But this isn't how we expected the game to be going. Top lane, I guess we could say that it's going relatively as we expected, even though Kenrudo is ahead. He's 7-3, but... He's starting to win these trades. He's starting to win the side lane, let's say. And if he wasn't so overly aggressive in the early part of the game, I think it would be going a lot better for him. He's matched with the Sterak's Gauge that Kenrudo has picked up, and he has a BF sword in his pocket as well, maybe building towards Spear Sojin for a little bit of extra damage, a little bit more counter-strike usability. But how do Viperio come back into this game? Is there a way? Because they're down 2 Infernal Drakes and the Baron's already taken for the side of Radiant. Is there a way to come back into this game, or are they just going to slowly bleed out and then maybe have a final team fight that they lose?
I don't know. I think they get outscaled, and it's moved past a point now where there's so many dragons on the side of them. They've got the CS advantages in the mid lane. Actually, oh no, the CS advantages are on the blue side, but the gold lead is heavily in favor of Radiant right now. I would peg them to win it from here on. The Jax, now with the gold that he's picked up from the team fights, will be able to match the Camille. That's the one win condition that Viperio had within the Camille, and they haven't used it, I don't think, in the correct way. Like, you go back to when the first Baron came up and they didn't have him on the opposite side trying to push his advantage. They had him going for picks and he just got caught out. And I think that was the way that Viperio would win the game, and I think that time has passed now.
Seems very unfortunate for Viperio, but they're on to Wrath Whip here. We'll just jump to safety, but it's not going to be safe for long. But Mental, he's just going to go down. I lied. He is perfectly safe. He can just take Buttermental down. They thought that he was dead. They thought he was done for, so they backed away. Now Tihan will be the target. Gets the slow now as X marks the spot. Wrath Whip does sustain himself a little bit longer with the Stairs Cage, but he will eventually go down. But they take an inhib across the map.
Yeah, if they didn't take him out there, it probably would have been game over. They will look to back now and try and hold things out, but that's the strength of a late game Jax showing himself.
They're just gonna go on to the Nexus Towers. They don't care that Viperio are nearby. They're just gonna take the kills now. Munch goes golden, but Blade Color is there. We'll secure that kill. Kenrudo now gonna try and deal out a lot of damage. We'll manage to find the Diana. Pulse Spark will connect, but T-Hunt will just burn down, and the last auto attack comes through for Tyron there. And now they gotta back away. They don't want to over-aggress. They only have one wave of super minions, and even though I think they could probably take this fight, they don't have their Jax, so they don't want to take something that they might lose, because Kenrudo, he's 9-3, even though his team is losing, he's looking very good.
Yeah, definitely, and with Xayah not having her ultimate up, that Camille moving onto her is pretty damn scary. Doesn't have the ultimate either, but if the Camille got onto the Xayah, I think it's definitely KO.
Well, they're just gonna rotate around, pick up this tier 3 tower, pick up the next inhib for free as well, as Jax is just go wail on that top side too, and J4 is lurking around that area, but there's nothing he can do to respond to Wrath Whip. He has 4 items, goes aggressive now on the side of Kenru. They're onto the Sejuani. That's not who you want to put your baby cage down onto, and they're just onto the Nexus, baby. Wrath Whip wants to end this game right here, right now, and they go undefeated on the side of Radiant.
Yeah, no, great performance there coming out. Managed to hold themselves out a little bit more against that Camille. I would have liked to have seen the Camille push her advantage more in the side wave to manage to come out with the kill. But yeah, no, great performance from Radiant to be able to hold themselves undefeated.
Beautifully well done, and I'd like to give props to Kenrudo because he has the most damage in the game.
Yeah, by far.
I think there is a 5,000 difference between Jax and himself, and then everyone else is 2,000 or 3,000 damage below that. So he did very well on that Camille. He went 9-3. Unfortunately, they did lose on the side of Viperio, and that does tank our predictions a little bit. But Twitter is superior analysts so far. They got everything last week, and I think they've gotten everything this week as well. So they're doing really well.
Yeah, fair enough.
I would like to talk a little bit about the Radiant win. What do you think was the X factor for the team? Was it just that there were so many mistakes coming out from the side of Viperio, or was it that they had the better scaling and they just played that? Or like, what was it that really got them to win? Because they just seemed to be playing pretty standard.
I think it's all of those factors, but Tyron, I think I'll peg from MVP this match. He managed to take advantage of the mistakes a lot more than you would have expected. BB Muffin just there as a little cash cow for him if he ever wanted a little kill or he wanted to get the mid lanes.
Yeah,
the mid lanes a little bit further ahead. He'd just go straight there and he'd get caught out almost every single time. He had a really, really good performance on this Sejuani. He was prevalent in team fights with protecting the rest of his carries, getting so many fights out. And after the poor start with the great invade from Viperio going in there, taking his blue buff, he managed to bounce back pretty well. I think, of his 2 deaths, one of them was when Kenruto made the amazing roam. But other than that, he's been pretty stellar for the team. And as his name would say, UKEL star. He definitely was the star for this match, and he manages to pull his team through and get the win.
Yeah, he's definitely everywhere that he needed to be, and I'm very disappointed in how BB Muffin played, because it's unusual for him to play so poorly, because he's known as one of the best players on his star roster, one of the teams that we expect to be top of the table, or one of the teams in contention for one of the top spots, top 2 or even top 3. And